Hi, this is Stacia, and we're going to take a look at my Tuesday Tussle 3 round 1 game. This was a USCF online rated game, so I did take these seriously. I mean, during the pandemic, what else do we have, really? All right, so let's have a look at this one. I actually played it 5 weeks ago, so we'll see how much I remember. Okay, so the game started with e4. I played the white pieces, and my opponent was rated 1608, and I was rated 1660. He responded with e5, and here I decided to go with the King's Gambit. So one thing that I've been working on is that I want to have choices with my openings, and right now I can play knight f3. That's my new repertoire, but f4 is something I've been playing the last year. So I decided that I would play f4 because he plays the Petrov, and I did not want to play that. All right, so he played d5. This is the Falkbeer counter gambit, but it can also transpose into the modern defense, which it did this game. After takes, he then took on f4. So now this is the Queen's Gambit accepted modern defense. So knight f3, and queen takes pawn. So I actually think queen takes is a slight mistake because knight c3 comes with tempo, so why allow that, right? So instead of that, I think maybe knight f6 is a better move. That way you can recapture with a knight. Okay, but he took with a queen. I took with the knight. I'll turn up the volume a little bit here so we can hear the moves. Did I say I took with the knight? No, I moved my knight. All right, queen a5. So I'm used to seeing queen d8 here. So I wasn't really familiar with this position other than I knew I've had it in some blitz games. But probably I should just develop, right? So d4. Okay. Now he played bishop d6, which I think is reasonable because it does defend the pawn. I went bishop to c4, putting the bishop on the Italian diagonal. So now I have these ideas. And knight f6, and yeah, for some reason, I was wondering about the check on e2 because normally I don't want to play this move because when the queen's on d8, the queen can block, or the queen can support the bishop blocking, or whatever. Here, the queen is not blocking. And if the bishop blocks, that's kind of weird for it to move here and then move back. And then if black tries to castle, the bishop's hanging. So this looked really uncomfortable to me. The other move is bishop here, but then I can take that. And that would win a pawn. And or material. I think just a pawn. So I played this move, and it turns out it was precise. So I'm happy I found that one. It's not a move that you often play in a King's Gambit. But yeah, it did trigger this move, king to d8. Computer disagrees. It says king to f8. Okay, but both are good for white. All right, so I castled. I mean, his king is now on d8, so I felt like rapid development is my next step. And of course, you always want to try to win this pawn back in the King's Gambit. It's like if you successfully do that, especially with the bishop, then you're going to have a really nice position. And if you don't, you might be worse. Okay. So rook to e8 makes sense. Attacking my queen. Computer wants to play knight e5 here. Ugh. All right, I'm going to turn the engine off for a minute. I'd be scared to play that. All right, let's look at it for a second. Knight to e5. Wow. Well, one thing that's nice about it, it's interference on the pawn. So we are threatening to take that. But the knight is pinned. I guess, it feels like it's attacked so much. What on earth? Oh, but we are attacking here. All right, let's just say for fun that black takes. I mean, can't they do this? I guess the point is, maybe after all this, there's two pawns hanging. This does look like a really nice position all of a sudden, doesn't it? Look at black's development. This looks like Morphe versus Doofus. And that's what Ben Feingold would say. Okay, you can tell who I watch on YouTube. All right, so let's continue. All right, I didn't find knight e5. I played the more natural looking queen d3. I'm not sure how natural it is, but I'm eyeing the h pawn, so it kind of makes him nervous about moving the knight. And my king or my queen seems safe on d3, so I like this. So he played bishop to e6. So now with the rook on e8, if I take, you know, he could take with a rook. So I played bishop to d2. Yeah, and bishop to d2 is actually a mistake. So I forgot about this. And I'm second guessing queen d3 now, because here black has the move bishop f5. And in fact, instead of bishop to e6, bishop f5 right here is probably even better. So I do have a history of putting my queen on squares where she can be attacked. And yeah, I'm still doing it apparently. And I didn't see it in the analysis video either. So it's definitely a blind spot for me. So where should we put the queen instead? I mean, I would think about f2. Oh, f2, there's knight moves. Okay, so let's not do that. So that's what part of why the computer likes knight e5. I'm going to see what other moves it likes, because I'm a little bit baffled. Queen f2, really? So queen f2, and what about this? Probably, oh, queen h4 check wins. They can play, I was thinking knight back to f6. But then we go knight to d5, attacking the pin piece. Yeah, and the problem is white's getting really active and black has really good development. You agree? Okay. So queen d3 maybe not so good because of bishop f5. Yeah, and same with bishop d2. Computer still says that bishop f5 is good for black. Let's see why. After this, computer says the best move is knight to b5. Tricky, tricky. If black takes, which they probably should, we take here. We're on this, but there's a bishop defending. You can take our rook. Then we go recapture, and computer wants king to d7, and black's better. Wow. All right, black's better. I still prefer white here. Or do I? The knight's coming out and black's fully developed. That also attacks the bishop. All right, so okay, computer, I agree. So yeah, bishop f5 was a good move. So instead of that, whoops, I kind of jumped ahead, sorry about that. Bishop to d2, queen h5, so swinging the queen to the other side of the board, which I thought he might do. Looks a little bit scary, doesn't it? But on the other hand, black's king is on d8. This knight's not out, this rook's not out. So I wasn't totally scared because it would be a very unjust world if he checkmated me. All right, so knight to b5. So he saw I want to win the pawn, I think. He also saw I want to take the bishop. I'm not sure why he couldn't. Okay. I think he's defending here mostly. So this is suspicious though, because I wouldn't expect a 1600 player to do this. So his king's on d8. That move develops a bishop, but then it's like bishop d2, he moves his queen, knight here, and he moves his queen again in a place where the queen might have to move again. So this feels like, well, if you're watching, opponent, don't take offense, but that's lack of foundation. You really should be developing your pieces. I'm fully developed, even my rooks are connected, so you don't have time for all these queen moves. And that kind of, I think that kind of explains why black doesn't go queen a5. Like the queen is safer, doesn't have to move around when it goes back to d8. Even though it looks like a concession, it's a better concession than moving your queen every move. Okay, so I was thinking he moved his queen every move and his king's in the center, so I should play actively. So knight to e5, and I did feel like I was probably winning here. Yeah, he took this bishop. If he takes my knight, this is check. Now the knight's attacked, but the knight can swing back. But then I was thinking about maybe rook takes f4 or bishop takes f4. Probably rook takes f4. Attacking the queen, I'm going to maybe do that. I'm also attacking the pawn. Whoops. I can draw arrows, I swear. Okay, like that. Okay. So he took this way. I thought this was also good for me though, because queen takes bishop. I have pressure here. I have pressure here. So my queen is very much improved. And yeah, not only that, but you know, when the knight comes here, you probably should take him, because if you do something else, your queen's still attacked. So this attacked my queen, so I had to take back. But guess what? Now his, yeah, so. Okay, so I took a queen. Now the funny thing about this is that the computer doesn't want to take the queen. Oh, it does now. Okay, it changed its mind again. The computer wants knight takes d6. I mean, really? Like, who wouldn't take the queen here? All right, so I guess the idea is this check. Wow, and it's surprising black doesn't want to move the queen. I mean, I guess not. C takes, and only then take the queen. So what if black moves the queen? So if here, oh, if here there's this, that's illegal. Can I do that? Then it says knight takes b7 check, king to e8, bishop to b4, attacking the rook. Wow, this is very shaky indeed. Rook to e6. And basically, all right, it just wants to bring a rook in now, but this is a huge attack, and black's lack of development is doing him in. So there you go. That was game one. It was a pretty fast game. it was only 16 moves. So let's review just really quick. This is transposed into the King's Gambit Modern, and I think the first mistake is probably bringing the queen to a5. That turns out to be bad for black because the queen gets chased around too much. Also, the queen wasn't here to defend this square. So I understand queen to d8 more than I ever have. Yeah, I'm just developing my pieces. So finding this check was good though. I wouldn't normally play this. And now queen d3 is a mistake by me because I missed bishop to f5. I get why I missed it too. The queen is actually playing the role of supporting the bishop, which is unusual, so I didn't even think about it. That's why we should look at the whole board when we play chess. Okay, and I like the way I played from here. Like knight to b5 is active, and moving the queen again just seems so wrong. I think that's just a howler, that one. So queen g4. Instead, if I was black, I would really want to play knight to c6. I think that would be the best. And I'm kind of looking what the computer would play here. It wants to take with the f pawn. I mean, if I was trying to maintain my pawn structure, I would do this. But now, yeah, we're just going to push forward with our pawns. And the bishop's already uncomfortable, and that means this pawn's going to fall just for starters, because this would be hanging behind the bishop. Okay, I think you get the point. So knight e5 was correct, and yeah, this ended very abruptly. It seemed like a long game when I was playing it. We spent a lot of time in this position, but taking a queen is good. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this one, and I will be back with another Tuesday Tussle tournament game. Thanks for watching. Bye.